The honourable member, l'honorable député de Mont-Royal.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. C'est un plaisir de me lever dans cette place aujourd'hui pour me prononcer sur le C-29. J'aimerais partager mon temps avec mon collègue de Fredericton. Aujourd'hui, je vais discuter comment ce budget et comment la loi sur l'implémentation sur le budget va affecter une famille ordinaire dans mon comté. One of the things that we all saw in the election campaign was how Canadians as a whole, men, women, children, were affected by actions taken by the government. We listened to what our constituents had to say, and I thought it would be interesting to take an average family of 5 and put them into this budget. So, as I don't want to use an actual family in my riding, I intend to use a fictional family. Let's call them the Simpsons. The Simpsons are 5 people. There's a father named Homer. He works in a nuclear power plant, and he is the sole income earner of the family. His wife's name is Marge. She's a stay-at-home mom. And they have 3 children, Bart, Lisa, and a little baby named Maggie. Homer earns approximately $85,000 a year in the nuclear power plant. That is the sole income for the Simpson family. Homer will now see an added 1.5% on all of his income derived between $44,500 and $85,000. An added approximate $1,500 a year for Homer and Marge to spend on their family, whether it's for Lisa's saxophone lessons or for such indulgences as hair dye for Marge. The Simpsons will have extra money in their pocket because of this budget this year. As to the family allowances, now on a tax-free basis, for little Maggie, they could see up to $6,400. Now they won't because they're in a higher income tax bracket, but they're going to see more money. For children under 6, $6,400. For kids between 6 and 18, $5,400 for those who are at the lowest income level. So their neighbors that they're friends with, who are at lower income levels, are actually seeing their children coming out of poverty. Over 300,000 Canadian children coming out of poverty because of these tax-free Canada Child benefits. And for the Simpsons, they will have added money as well in the Canada Child benefits because at their income level, like 90% of Canadian families, they will see more money in their pocket for all 3 of their children. Then, let's talk about communications. Marge has 2 sisters, Patty and Selma. They live in a rural Canadian community where internet is difficult to access. This budget puts $500 million to enhance broadband internet access for those rural communities so that Marge will one day be able to Skype with her sisters and watch them light up as she talks to them. Then Homer's dad lives in the community. Abe Simpson, we'll call him Grandpa Simpson, lives alone. A single poor man who is a former veteran. First, he will have enhanced veterans benefits now. Veterans offices closer to him are reopening to ensure that his role in protecting his country is recognized. Secondly, he's on a guaranteed income supplement. The guaranteed income supplement has been upped by close to $1,000 a year to allow him to live better and in more security. One of the things that I'm happiest about in this budget also relates to the fact that, let's say Abe had a partner and she was in the hospital or in a long-term care facility. Now they're able to recognize that he or she is living on their own for the purpose of the guaranteed income supplement and not living together so as to reduce the total benefit that they are receiving. These things, Madam Speaker, are helpful. They help Canadian families, and they're making a true difference. Lisa, alone amongst the children of Homer and Marge, is an incredibly bright girl and wants to go to college. Now, according to what was laid out in the budget, she will have more ability to get student loans, more ability to afford to go to a good college anywhere in Canada. And not only that, Madam Speaker, but she will only need to start repaying these student loans when she starts earning $25,000 a year. So she will have a great chance to further her education and then become a very successful person in society, no matter what she chooses to do. And then there's also more money for vocational training. So let's say Bart doesn't want to go to college, but he wants to become a plumber or a mechanic. There's more money to help him achieve his goals, including internships in this budget. So on the whole, this budget, taking this typical Canadian family, makes things so much better for them. Let's talk about infrastructure. Homer takes the bus to work. There was a lot of money that has now been agreed with the provinces and the federal government in this budget to go to infrastructure to help public transit, to make our buses greener and cleaner, more environmentally friendly. As a former mayor, I went into federal politics in the hope that there would be budgets like this that enhanced and increased infrastructure spending. This budget achieves that and will allow Homer's right to work to be cleaner, safer, and better. Roads that they drive on. In my riding, I'm going to talk about it many, many times. There's the Cavendish extension. It's linking two parts of Cavendish Boulevard together, from the riding of Saint Laurent to the riding of Mount Royal. And this is the most important missing piece of the Montreal Island Road Network. It's something that we need, desperately need, infrastructure monies for. And it's one of those projects that can come to fruition because of this type of a budget that gives more money for cities to be able to enhance roads, water mains, and all kinds of hard infrastructure, as well as social infrastructure like public housing. One of the things that could be the case in this budget is that Marge has another aunt who lives in public housing. She lives in one of those places where the funds were cut by the previous government when they stopped renewing agreements. Well, this government renewed those agreements to give monies back so that she has more money in her pocket to pay her rent. That's important, Madam Speaker. And one thing that I wanted to talk about, parce que nos collègues du Parti néo-démocrate ont parlé de ça, c'est la question de l'axe sur les amendements sur l'accès sur les banques et l'affaire Marcotte. C'est sûr et certain, dans l'affaire Marcotte, on a vu qu'il y avait des provisions de la loi sur la protection de la consommateur du Québec qui s'appliquait, parce que même si dans la question des banques, le gouvernement fédéral est supérieur, ou en anglais on dit the paramountcy doctrine, il y avait certains champs où le fédéral n'a pas légiféré et la loi s'appliquait. C'est sûr et certain, si on ne va pas légiférer dans ces aspects, que la loi va continuer de s'appliquer. Et on connaît que maintenant on réfère au règlement. On ne sait pas exactement comment on va légiférer ici. C'est possible qu'on va légiférer dans certains domaines et c'est possible qu'on ne va aucunement légiférer. On ne sait pas. Et dans ces champs, la loi sur la protection des consommateurs continue de s'appliquer. Dans ceux et celles où on a maintenant une loi fédérale, c'est vrai que les lois sur la protection des consommateurs ne vont peut-être pas s'appliquer, mais on va avoir un framework national. And I want to say that as a Quebec MP, I'm happy that consumers across Canada will be more protected because of this act. There will be the introduction of a cooling-off period during which a consumer can cancel an agreement for products or services provided by a bank. There will be an unfair practice regime, which adds to the tide selling restriction and a prohibition against taking advantage of persons who are unable to protect their own interests. There'll be an amendment regime where banks can't just amend their contracts without notifying and giving details to consumers. There will be an easier way to set up bank accounts with more types of identification. I'm very happy that our government is introducing accountability within the banking framework in Canada and trying to protect consumers from across Canada against abuses from the banking sector. So, Madam Speaker, in closing, I support C-29. I'm sure my honourable colleague from Fredericton, who will follow me with an incredible speech, also supports C-29, and I encourage all members of this House to support C-29. Thank you, Madam Speaker.